All right, welcome back to Daytona here. Oh, wait a second. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, welcome back to Daytona. Stand by because Twitch insists on forcing an ad right now. I apologize for that. Also, thank you everyone for jumping in as we're about to get underway for Stint 5 here. Just stand by for a little bit as Twitch continues to cause me issues here. Alright, so it's going to be Tactical Fallout followed by Nizrama, Just Unku, AMS Virage, CBL Muhammad, who is currently the highest of the Porsches. Then after Muhammad, please don't do this ghosting thing and screw us over. Please tell me there's not going to be a problem. Yep, there's a problem. Okay, go figure. All right. So anyways, I do apologize. We were dealing with some issues there, but hopefully we can get this underway and going sooner rather than later. All right, here we are, going on to the circuit again. For those of you who missed, I'm not going to go through the rundown of everything, but absolutely incredible fighting between the top two at the end of the prior stint for the prototype category. It was kind of decided with about 3 laps to go, but they got right back on top of each other at the very end. And the team that has finished second in every single stint thus far is anticipated to start first in this stint as well. So it would be, I believe, Tactical Fallout's first time starting at first in a prototype event ever. I think it would also be his first time ever leading TORA, and he's not been in a prototype race car since 2022, so this is going to be a really interesting scenario for him. All right, so at the head of the field will be this man here, Tactical Fallout, and the number 21. This has not won a stint yet, but has finished second in every single one thus far. Incredible consistency. Behind him will be Nizrama, and the number 13. They have won a stint 2. Be interested to see what they can pull off. Third place is going to be Jess Unku, who has been on a bit of a recovery. The third stint driver for them has been on a bit of a recovery drive, driving up to third. AMS Viraj is going to be starting in 4th position. 5th will be CBL Muhammad. And then 6th will be NWR Shadow. 7th. 7th will be right here, Hanser, who just was fighting and won that most recent stint in that number 69 machine. Then there will be Apex Why Not in the number 45 and FTC Ashcan, who is in the Porsche currently at the back of the prototype field. Leading the GT field, LMP Rockchalk. This car has won 3 of the 4 GT stints thus far, and Rockchalk won the most recent one. EMC Zoombat in the 420 will be starting second in GT. 8-Wire Riddle U will be third. Then 4th will be Nuke X 16th. Behind them will be LMP Porsche in the 827 Nissan, followed by Phoenix 8 in the Porsche number 90. Then ACR Colin, who had his best finish in that Ferrari thus far. Larry B is going to be starting second to last, and PTT Brains will round out the rear of the field here. So Tactical Fallout has not turned any laps in racing conditions yet. His teammates have put this car in second position every stint thus far, and the leader has had a great jump in all but the last stint thus far. Nizrama is going to be starting second. It's really interesting here, because if Nizrama gets a great start and Tactical does not, we could see that 21 car really struggle early on here. Still waiting to get underway here. We should see them start rolling in about 50 seconds or so. Should be going here in just a few seconds. Come on. You can do this. I also know that at the least, Tactical Fallout will be doing Stint 6 as well, I believe. So, yeah, this could get interesting. Alright, here we are. Now we start rolling. Tactical Fallout is going to be leading Nizrama and Jess Unku to the lead. Unku has not had some great starts or great runs, But I think Tact's biggest concern is going to be Nizrama at this initial start here. And the GT category is going to be LMP Rockshock trying to go back-to-back and make it 4 out of 5 stint wins for that Corvette team. Out of the hairpin as the field accelerates. Tactical Fallout gets a launch. Nizrama not as good on the start as he'd like to be, though. So a small gap opens between first and second. Nizrama, a proven stint winner. Tactical Fallout in the, thus far, the fastest car overall. And Nizrama botches the first hairpin and lets Unku get on his inside. They're 3 wide further back as well. Unku side by side with Viraj and Nizrama. Nizrama has the inside on Unku. And Viraj is right there. Viraj slides out aggressively, though. In the process, Tactical Fallout got a little bit of a jump. That's something he really needed here. Nizrama trying to keep Unku behind on his outside, and Viraj is in his draft as well. Already, the Porsche has fallen to 7th and 9th. Oh my goodness, Viraj! What are you doing? Viraj gives Unku a push. Unku goes ahead. Unku completes the overtake on Nizrama. Not something I anticipated seeing. Unku's been a little bit slow and sluggish most of these, but thus far, Unku's up into 2nd, and now Viraj is pushing him forward. Nizrama falls to 4th. Not the greatest ideal start for Nizrama as he has slipped to 4th already. Viraj, Unku, side by side for 2nd as Tactical Fallout has vanished out into the distance. Neck and neck for 2nd. Side by side. A little bit of a slide there for Viraj. Unku keeps him side by side as well. The entire prototype field from 2nd on back is all tucked up behind Viraj at the moment. Hanser hits Nizrama in the back. Nizrama follows on and hits Unku as well. A little bit of a stack up there. GT field's all really tight right now, but the interest is here in the prototype category. Nizrama stuck behind Unku right now as Unku is trying desperately to make something, anything happen to Viraj. Viraj dropped tires coming out of the 2nd infield hairpin now. And now onto the oval once again. Who has draft on Viraj, and Nizrama is right behind, so is Hanser. Hanser won the most recent stint, Nizrama won stint 2. Not a great run out that time for Unku. Nizrama's got to run on the outside. Hanser falls back just a bit. Nizrama falls back in line behind Unku to get a draft. Unku catching, he's using the draft and starting to reel Viraj back in. 2nd through 5th, all on top of each other, you can pretty much throw a blanket on them. Unku goes to the outside, side by side for 2nd, heavy under the brakes. Unku slides, but stays in position. No change from 2nd to 5th this time by. Viraj had a really, really wide line coming back onto track, coming out of turn 1. Keeps Unku tucked up behind. Hanser hits Nizrama again from behind. Tactical Fallout out in front, but he is not pulled away by the amount that we thought he would be able to. If anything, Viraj is slowly closing back down on him right now. Shadow, Muhammad, Why Not, and Ashcan, all, well, excluding Ashcan, so Shadow, Muhammad, and Why Not all on top of each other for 6th through 8th. But right now, 2nd through 5th, we're on top of each other, and they are slowly reeling in your stint leader, Tactical Fallout. They've just about caught Tactical Fallout. Tac may have got that great start, but he has not had the pace that Seal or TJ has had. Running him down, slowly but surely. Hanser got alongside Nizrama there, but there we are. This is it. First, top 5, all right on top of each other. Can Viraj do anything to Tactical as Unku doesn't seem to have what it takes to directly challenge Viraj. Viraj had a good run out of the first infield hairpin, trying to close in on Tack. Through the kinks, flat out in these cars, and now heavy under braking in the second infield hairpin. Viraj has a slightly wider entry, trying to tighten it up, coming out. Tack gives Viraj the inside and then shuts the door under braking. Accelerates out, Tack really trying to maintain momentum coming out of these corners, but Viraj is there. Viraj goes to the outside, tactical fallout, fight for a lead in the first 10 minutes of the stint. 683 pulls alongside. How aggressively does Tack go into the braking zone? Not at all. He backs out. He does not want to be side by side going into the bus stop chicane. Oh, but he closes in quite a bit in the bus stop, though. Closes right back up on Viraj. So now Viraj is the one in the lead, as Just Unku is tucked up behind Tactical Fallout. Hanser's lost the plot a little bit, it seems. He's still in the range, but not there. Now Tack comes to the outside. Neck and neck again for position. Unku holds the inside line. He's going to try and slip by Tack. Tack holds it really nice and smooth on the outside. Drag race coming out of turn one. Tack's got him. An outside overtake and Tack's got him. Incredible move. And that backed up the field and brought Hanser right back to the rear of this fight. Viraj and Tack scoot away from Unku just a little bit, as Nizrama is still stuck behind Unku. Hanser slips by Nizrama. They're side by side for fourth and fifth back there. Two prior stint winners, but they've not been able to break into the podium proper. Tactical goes wide, coming off the speedway section. Viraj now to the top. Tack is fighting on the outside. He'll fall back in line behind the Jaguar as they go through speedway turn two. Oh my goodness, he's got to run. Does he make the move or does he stay in line? He'll stay in line for now. Viraj aggressive, and Tack with the comeback of the run coming on the outside. Tack had a better run out of the bus stop. He's got some confidence in that car. He comes to the bus stop run. Unku giving Viraj a push, and there is Hanser giving Tack a push. Now there's 3 wide for second. 3 wide for the second position. Hanser's got to run. They're almost 4 wide for a lead. Contact. Hanser taps the outside wall. Viraj is sideways, gets tucked from behind by Unku. Tack slips back to third. He's trying to keep Hanser behind. He will for now. Just for now. Hanser tries to lunge, but Tack shuts the door. Viraj now gets a chance to open the gap and try to run away from the rest of the prototypes. Incredible stuff very early on here. Viraj already trying to get away just a bit. Tactical Fallout holds station. Hanser went to the outside for a look, but couldn't make it stick, and compromises his run out. Now Nizrama is pulled up behind Hanser once more. Unku's got right back behind Viraj as well. So the top 5 all still on top of each other. Can Unku do anything to Viraj? I don't think so. I think that gap's a little too big, but Tack may have to worry about Hanser. Hanser's got a big head of steam. These are the 2 cars fighting for a win in the last stint. And now they're fighting for third early on in this stint. Hanser with a much better run than Tack through the bus stop this time, as Tack backed out so he wouldn't run into Unku. So Viraj is pulled away just a bit. Nah, I take that back. Unku's running Viraj back down, and Hanser's got to run on Tack for third. Looks outside, looks inside, gets to Tack's inside. Neck and neck for the position. Side by side for a top spot. Viraj and Unku. Unku to the inside. Viraj squeezed wide. It's a drag race once again. It's a drag race for third as well. Tack has the fight for third. Viraj into the dirt. He still has the inside though with the first infield hairpin. Neck and neck. He's got the acceleration, he's got the run, but Viraj is not done. Viraj is still there. Side by side as they come to the kink. Do either of them back out? No. They're still side by side. Viraj will have the inside line coming into the infield. Tack gets turned from behind and saves the car for hitting Unku. Tack Tak maintains third for now, but that car is completely out of control before he hit Unku. The top 5 cannot get away from each other. This is unbelievable what's going on right now. Viraj still holds station over Unku. Tak runs in third position. Hanser, Nizrama, 2 prior stint winners, run in fourth and fifth, but Nizrama is not really pushing to stay aggressively as close. Hanser now has got to run to the outside of Tak. Tak tucked up behind Unku. Does Tak try to make the move to the outside? He's considering. Here it comes to the outside. Hanser now to the inside of Unku. 3 wide for second. Unku has the position. Tak backs out. He doesn't want to be on the extreme outside going into turn 1. Unku slides off circuit. And Hanser slides wide as well. Tak goes by. Hanser now falls back to fourth once more. And Tak goes back to second. That defensive mindset that Tak had really pulled off something incredible, going from fourth to second in a single corner, and Viraj still hasn't gotten away, and just add insult to injury to us all, they're about to catch GT traffic! Viraj now caught by tactical fallout once again, and he has to navigate through GT category traffic. Hanser got up to third now. Oh, gets hit by the Ferrari. And now Unku gets around. Tak has a run on Viraj. They still have several more GT cars they're going to have to catch. They'll likely be catching them in the infield on the following lap, if not on the run into turn 1. This is Tak closest that he's been to Viraj for a while. It's a knife fight. Oh, and Tak misses the corner, and it's Hanser with an absolutely perfect run. And Unku follows. Tak now, he went from fourth to second in turn 1, now second and fourth in the bus stop. So now it's Hanser who has a chance to maybe run something down on Viraj. Oh, and Hanser is going to pit early on. Very early on. So Unku now goes into second. Tactical fallout trying to follow through. Unku pulls up behind Viraj once more as they go through some incredibly heavy traffic right now. Oh, lunge to the inside. No room, though. He can't make it stick in time. But Hanser pitting now might help him. He'll be running a bunch of laps in relatively clean air compared to the rest of this knife fight going on between Viraj, Unku, Fallout, and Nizrama. That's Rockshock, the leader of the GT category. So as they get through, that's it. Leaders no longer have to worry about GT traffic. It looks like it's settled down for a bit. Viraj at the front, while Unku is still just within striking range. Unless Viraj makes a big mistake, I think that fight for lead is over, and Viraj has it for now. It's going to be Unku versus Tactical Fallout. Unku makes a bit of a mistake entry, Tactical makes a bit of a mistake exiting, so neither of them really close on each other, and Viraj starts pulling away. Tak looks to the inside of Unku, but is not willing to push the issue in turn 1. He's more interested in braking early and just preserving the car. He doesn't want to send it off if he can help it. But Unku is absolutely struggling. Still, Unku is putting on the best run he has had thus far today. Most of his runs, he's fallen out of the top 5 very early on. He is holding on to second on merit, and Viraj has not really pulled away that much. Also, Nizrama, who is in 4th, has kind of lost his touch with this group. Is there damage? There's no damage to the car. It just seems like Nizrama doesn't have any pace, which is weird because Nizrama was legitimately one of the faster drivers in the first few stints earlier. Hanser, though, I think is the real wild card because right now he is gone. He is pitted early. Now he's going to have to deal with GT traffic real soon, but he pitted early as baiting out clean laps and clean air right now. But the top 3 all continue to run basically on top of each other. If Viraj makes a mistake in the bus stop, and Unku does not, this fight for the lead would heat up once more. And there it is. It wasn't a massive mistake, but Viraj made a hiccup, and now Unku's caught his draft. The fight for the prototype lead continues. Ooh, that's not a great run for Unku. Dove in a little too deep and bled off a lot of speed. He's actually going to lose all that time he gained on Viraj, and in fact, we're actually going to see Tactical Fallout close in just a bit now. So from a knife fight for the top two at the end of Stage 4 to a knife fight between as many as 5 cars at the start of Stage 5. This prototype category class has been absolutely incredible to watch. And the top 3 almost all nose to tail as they come onto Speedway Turn 1. Tack with a big slide just behind Unku right now. Tack has a run on the Swordfish number 24. Is he gonna push it? He's not shown any interest in pushing the issue going into any of these braking zones yet. But he's really good on the run out. Gets right back up behind Unku. Does he pull up alongside again? Does not look like it. Oh, and that's Viraj! Viraj missed the corner! And he goes from first to third in a single corner! And now Unku goes back to the lead! I cannot believe this is a drawn-out night by now. Tack gets to the inside of Unku, coming out of the infield hairpin. Can't keep it alongside, though. I've used up all the snooze options that I have. Because this has just been that good. Unku's in the dirt! Unku's in the dirt! Viraj comes back! Tack on the outside. Viraj inside. Drag race. Bumper to bumper. Door to door. Unku has the inside. Tack on the outside. And Viraj is faster than both, but has nowhere to go. Unku holds it for now. Tack on the outside. Just doesn't seem to quite have it. Now we see Unku look to the outside. Now Tack on the inside. Both of them faster than Unku. Side by side, Viraj versus Unku. Going into the bus stop chicane. Someone has to give. Something's got to give. Neither of them give. Somehow they held it side by side to the bus stop. Unku inside, Viraj outside. Drag race. Tack. Holding on behind, just watching, not really making any moves, but his reluctance to make big moves has been the big thing keeping him in contention for this fight. Viraj, Unku. Viraj and Tack both went wide. Unku slides wide on exit, though. No real change. Unku holds station over Viraj. Tack still holds steady in third. Tack's not really made any big mistakes. If anything, Tack's driving better than everyone else around him. He just doesn't seem to have the outright pace compared to these two. Although he did get hit that one time and spin basically into Viraj's side, but he hit him and set him straight, so it didn't really matter too much. Tack gets a little bit aggressive with Viraj, now rushes to try and get to the inside. Can't make it happen. Right on board with Tack, as Viraj is trying to run down Unku in a straight line. Tack seems to be running a little bit more downforce, trying to be a little bit more conservative, I imagine. But he closes so much more in the bus stop just by not making any crazy runs. Unku had a really bad time through there. Viraj goes by on the outside. And Tactical Fallout's trying to follow. He can't. Did not have the speed to follow. But Viraj now goes back to the top. Oh, and Tack's gonna pit. So where's Tack going to end up in relation to Hanser? Because Tack and Hanser are two of the top 5 closer to top 4 that have really been dragging out this fight. Where is Hanser and Tack going to end up in relation to each other? Because if Hanser is clear of Tack, then I'm going to be honest, Hanser is going to be in the catbird seat to walk off with this win. Unku still tucked up behind Virage. Rama is honestly closed in on the duo. And Tactical Fallout ended up ahead of Hanser. Not by a massive amount, but Tack is ahead of Hanser, so keep an eye on that fight. Meanwhile, at the head of the field, I think things might finally be starting to calm down a bit. I say that, they're still stacked on top of each other, but I think things are starting to calm down a bit here at the front. All right, and there we are. Unku's coming in, and so is Virage. So what of Nizrama? Does Nizrama stay out? Yes, Nizrama will stay out. Nizrama was just at the back of this big, prolonged fight. So where's Tack and... where are Tack and Hanser going to end up in relation to Shadow and Virage? They all end up on top of each other. I'm going to have to take an ad break. In fact, I'm going to have to take an ad break now. Well, welcome back to Daytona. Hanser ended up behind Virage and Unku after all the pits were done, but Hanser got by Tack just while we were under a break, and now Unku hits Hanser in behind and hits him a second time. They're still side by side, but Hanser does seem to be faster than these other drivers. Now that they've all spread out a bit, Hanser moves up into third overall, second out of this fight. He needs to try and run down Virage. Pitting early did not work, but what has worked for Hanser is that all these prototype drivers have all now spread out a bit. So instead of having to fight 3 to 4 other cars at once, he's really only tackling them one at a time, and it seems like he's got enough of an advantage that he can pull off a 1 at a time attack. Tactical Fallout now putting Unku under pressure for what is currently fourth, would be overall third once Nizrama pits out of the top spot. Unku slides, giving Tactical Fallout the inside line. Again, Tack seems to be the slowest out of the top 5, but he's making the fewest mistakes. He's being very defensive, and that's really keeping him in this play a lot longer than you think it would. Meanwhile, Virage going to get by some traffic, and will use the traffic to try and keep Hanser tucked up. Hanser absolutely lunges to get by traffic, though. That won't matter at all, and Tactical Fallout gets by Unku. No, he didn't actually. No, Unku got back by ahead, so I missed that. Somehow, Tack must have gone off or something, because Unku has just completely obliterated Tack. Well, Hanser has just about caught Virage now. Hi, Dark Sir. No, this stint actually got underway immediately, but all of the prior stints have restarted anywhere from 1 to 5 times. But this stint got away immediately. I'm honestly shocked that it did. Somehow. Barrage holds station over Hanser. Bumper to bumper for the moment. This is the fight for second, and once Nizrama pits, it will be the fight for the lead. That is a GT that is way off circuit and slides. He'll keep it on track and won't crash the car or anything, but that was a heck of a slide. NWR Shadow is not too far behind Tack at this point. Nizrama stays out for a little bit longer. %31 fuel in the tank. You can stay out for a while. RockShock pits out of the lead of the GT category, giving that back to Larry B. Larry really should have won a stint by now, but it's just not really happened. And RockShock, who won the last stint, and that car of his has won 3 of the last 4 stints. All right, side by side for second. Hanser on the outside of Virage. Drag race. Hanser has the nose ahead. No, it looked like he had the nose ahead the line before, so didn't seem to think so. Hanser goes deep under braking, slides, keeps sliding, cannot keep it side by side coming out of turn 1. Barrage holds station in second. That was a huge lunge by Hanser and got him alongside, but it's so tight, and if you're too tight on the exit of these hairpins, you just can't put the power down. Nizrama finally pitting. Where's Nizrama, who was 5th, kind of at the back of this big fight for lead? Where is he going to end up in relation to Virage, Hanser, Unku, and Tack? Nizrama coming down towards turn 1, while Hanser and Virage coming out of turn 4 just now. Hanser looks inside, and he's got the inside on Virage. Virage let him have the inside. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but Hanser saw the door open and pushed his way in. A little bit of contact between the 21 to break in. Virage slides wide. Way wide, Virage slides. Hanser has it now. But Nizrama has already accelerated out of the pits. So this time the overcut was the big thing. I have to wonder if it's because these guys have all been in a drawn-out night fight. Well, it's taken a long time, but the 2 prior stint winners, Nizrama and Hanser, are now the ones at the top of the prototype grid. It's taken a very long time for it to happen, but the cream has come to the top. Nizrama in 1st, Hanser 2nd, although Virage has not let him go yet. Thing is, Hanser is just so much faster than Virage. I don't think that there's anything Virage can do unless Hanser catches GT traffic in a really bad way. I think it's more likely we'll see Hanser trying to run down Nizrama. But all of our prototype cars have made a stop. But something that hasn't happened yet has been all of our GT cars making a stop. At this stage, Larry B leads. Nuke X16 is 2nd in GT, and EMC Zoombat is 3rd. RockShock is 4th overall, but he has made a stop, and I think it's going to be RockShock versus Larry for this stint victory in GT categories. We can finally catch our breath a bit and focus on the GT category fight. Nizrama muscles his way by Larry B, the GT category leader. And that is the Porsche of Ashcan, that FTC Ashcan, that Nizrama is about to catch, and Muhammad is making their 2nd stop very early on. Ashcan will not put any fight up against Nizrama, just pulls over and lets Nizrama get by before they even get to the kink. I guarantee that they appreciate that. catch can. Pulls off again to let second and third by without too much issue. The GT field is honestly spread out pretty far at the moment, but our top three have yet to make their first stop. Larry's either going to be stopping this lap or next lap, as we see Unku coming up on him now. Tactical Fallout, sadly, has kind of lost touch with that top 5 fight. Is this going to be the pit lap for Larry, or is he going to stay out again? Again, once he pits, the big question is going to be, where is he going to be in relation to Rockshock? All right, he's pitting now. What of him versus Rockshock, as Rockshock is currently going through, or about to go into the bus stop chicane. I think Rockshock could have Larry's number. All right, coming into Speedway Turn 3 is Rockshock. Larry is still in his box. All right, now he's moving on pit lane. I think Rockshock's going to have Larry here. EMC Zoombat is also going to go ahead and pit. Nuke X1617 will pick up the lead, considering that he's someone who at one point in the earlier stint was dead last. Oh, Hanser's gone by Nizrama. What happened there? Well, something has happened to let Hanser get by Nizrama. I knew he was closing, but I didn't think he would close that fast. Not only does he close that fast, he just kind of blew the doors off Nizrama. Nizrama is gone. And Rockshock cleared Larry without any issue as well. Yeah, that fight is already over. My goodness, it started and ended immediately. Is there damage on Nizrama's engine? No, it's just Hanser just outran him by a massive amount. My goodness. Well, right now our leader in GT is this man here, Nuke X1617. We have to wonder how soon it will be before they pit. I imagine they'll be paying that slap. Their tires are cooked, and they don't have a lot of fuel left. And we'll go back to Rockshock being the stint leader. So we're going to go ahead and ride on board for a lap. On board with LMP Rockshock for a lap around here at Daytona. Real quick, as we're about to finish up our lap here on board with LMP Rockshock, we'll go ahead and take a look at some of the GT drivers farther down the grid. As Rockshock continues to hold a small lead over Larry B. the Z right now. Farther back, we look at Phoenix 8. It's been an absolutely disastrous time for this Porsche GT entry. 17th, EMC Zoombat is not that far up the road, though, and just ahead of him is PTG Brains. Brains currently has 31% in the tank, 22% on the most worn tire, a right front, which normally on the BMWs is a right rear, but this time it seems like it's a right front. And then Zoombat, who's right behind him, he's just recently pitted, so his tires are fresher. He has a little bit more fuel in the tank as well. And then Phoenix 8, who is on the very periphery of this fight, somewhere in the middle of the two. But yeah, PTG Brains trying to keep Zoombat behind at the moment. A big sideways moment for Brains and back Zoombat up as we see Shadow shoot by. Credit to Shadow. Shadow is run down tack. He led laps, started on the pole and led laps early, so Shadow making some big moves early on here. Farther bit up of this group is ACR Colin. Colin, the Ferrari, 15th, 4th to last, or 6th in GT, has been the best this Ferrari has been in finishing thus far, and Colin is putting it together in the same position. So the Ferrari gradually getting better and better as this has gone on. This is HYR Riddle U in the number 31 Nissan. Running in 5th in GT right now. Nuke X1617, who had a horrible run in an earlier stint, but actually seems to be coming along pretty well. 4th in the GT category at the moment. Most recent driver to make their first stop, so they are likely going a little bit longer on their stints. LMP Porsche running in the Nissan. I've already made that joke in an earlier stint. A little bit less than 20% left in the tank, so they're coming closer and closer to their second stop. TNR Larry B in 2nd in the GT category. And just ahead of them is LMP Rockshock. So there is a fight brewing for the lead in GT. You thought we had a crazy run for those first 20 or so minutes with a 5-way knockout fight for the top spot in the prototypes. Well, Larry B and Rockshock might be on the way to try and show us a calmer fight here as Larry is trying to close in on Rockshock. Larry's still looking for his first stint win. Rockshock won the last stint, would like to make it 4 stint victories out of 5 here in the GT category right now. And the big thing is they've got prototype cars coming up fast, and that could have some impact on how this turns out, as these prototypes are likely going to catch this duo going through turn 1. As your leader, Miss Rama, as Hansler's already made his second stop, so Hansler's making his stops earlier compared to Nizrama. Nizrama's going a little longer on the fuel tanks. Alright, it looks like Nizrama will clear Larry without any issue. What about Nizrama versus Rockshock? Dives to the inside of Rockshock, and Rockshock doesn't get the greatest entry into turn 1. Could that be something big to help? Well, not really, because Virage got alongside. Oh, Virage denies Rockshock the inside through the infield hairpin. And Larry got big closing on Rockshock there. This fight is alive. What can Larry do to Rockshock? Now, I thought I burned up everything early on. All the excitement early on with that 5-car fight at the front, but no, we're going to have a fight for a lead in the GT category as well. This could legitimately go down as one of the best multi-class stints I've ever covered for TORA, just with the sheer amount of action that's been going on. As 3rd place in prototypes, just Unku shooting by. Unku putting together a fantastic stint here today. Rockshock moving all around, trying to catch draft off of prototypes when he can. All right, can Larry close on Rockshock at all, going through the bus stop chicane? Yes, but not by much. And I think Rockshock had a good enough exit that'll actually start opening the gap back up. Virage pits out 2nd. Again, these two are on different strategies when it comes to pit stops. And Larry's caught Rock Shock. Oh, he's already committing to a move. He goes to the outside. Neck and neck. He tried making this move in an earlier stint. It worked. Can he make it work this time? Not quite. But he's there. He's caught Rock Shock. We have a fight for the lead now in the GT category. Rock Shock opens the gap just a little bit on Larry early on here. Garage falls behind Hanser after finishing his pit stop, as expected. Rock Shock really seems to be sliding that car around. Real quickly, I just want to check the fuel and tires on these two. 14% and 15% tire wear for Larry. For Rock Shock, who is farther up, 23% and 23% for Rock Shock. So Larry has less fuel, but pitted later. So his car is a little bit lighter, a little bit nimbler right now. That'll help a lot with initial acceleration out of corners. Ooh, Rock Shock kind of sideways. Didn't have the greatest entrance or the greatest exit this time, and Larry is closed in just a bit. Larry might have a shot at another run on the outside of Rock Shock. I've seen Larry make that extreme outside move work before. Granted, it was against a BMW, not a Chevrolet. He may not have to do it this time. He's coming to the outside, and he's got him! Larry gets Rock Shock before they even get to the line. Now, heavy under braking. Rock Shock's going to try and cross over, but the car slides out, can't make it stick. So Larry now goes ahead of Rock Shock and starts to slowly open the gap. Porsche and Nuke, who is the drivers who are third and fourth in GT, have now made their second stops. Rock Shock got to the inside of Larry coming out of the first infield hairpin. Keeps him close, but not enough to go side by side through the kink. Will he make a lunge into the second infield hairpin? No, he looks to the outside. Larry takes a wider line, trying to round at the corner so he can get on the throttle a little smoother, and it works. He stays ahead of Rock Shock for the moment. And now on to the oval once again. Rock Shock is kept up behind Larry. He's the one with the draft this time. That's fourth place Hanser, who we believe is going to be overall prototype leader. And he will clear both of the GT cars before they get to the braking zone, so he will not be a factor. Rock Shock actually closes in on Larry under braking this time. And closes in just a little bit on exit as well. So this time it's Rock Shock who has the draft on Larry. Larry inside, Rock Shock also holds the inside. Now he looks to the outside. It's going to be a drag race. Does Rock Shock have enough draft and speed to pull it off? He's on the outside. He has to brake a little earlier, and Virage on the extreme outside will overtake both of them. Larry slid a little bit wide on exit, and Rock Shock is still right there. He couldn't make the move stick, but Larry is not just walking off. This is a legit fight. Mono e mono with equal equipment. It's going to come down to driver ability and who has the better setup. The LMP team versus the TNR team, both putting out two of their best here at the top of the GT category in Stint 5 at Daytona. Here comes another prototype. That's Unku, who's going to have to try and go the long way around. I think Unku goes in the dirt. Yeah, Unku ran to the dirt. Rock Shock gets a run. He looks inside, outside. Does he make a dive? Not this time. Larry goes a little wide. Rock Shock looks to the inside. Shoots to the outside, goes the prototype, so Rock Shock is trapped behind Larry for a bit longer. Oh, but he's got a draft. He's got a run. Does he make a move to the inside? Coming to the bus stop chicane this time. Larry goes a little high. Does Rock Shock go to the inside? Here comes the prototype. You're not going to want to if there's a prototype right behind you. No, Ashcan does not want to press the issue. Ashcan's going to wait until they're out of the bus stop. Ashcan not very fast, but he's been very, very clean and really not been causing any grief for anyone, prototypes or GTs today. RockShox's got the run on the outside, gets a bit of an extra run as the banking drops away on the run downhill out of turn 4. Side by side, Larry still has the nose ahead at the line. Does RockShox try the crossover? Car slides too wide. Larry holds station. All it takes is one mistake for Larry, though, and RockShox would immediately be able to pounce. As Riddle-You, who is third in GT, pits, and now RockShox has the run out of the infield hairpin, but is not willing to go side by side in the kink. And GT cars, I really don't blame them. That's one of the last places you want to go side by side with anybody if you're in a GT car. Larry sliding a little bit. RockShox's got a chance. It's on the outside, but he's got a chance. He's got the nose ahead. Into the braking zone. Larry makes a little bit of contact. Both of the Corvettes slide wide, but RockShox is worse off for it. Larry holds station. It's not the outright constant position change knife fight we had early on. This is a nice, gentlemanly, strategic, thinking man's fight for the lead in GT here. Oh, Larry through the dirt deep and slides wide coming out of the bus stop, and RockShox has the run. As a prototype of tactical fallout, but he'll be by this duo. Nice and cleanly, I imagine. RockShox's gonna try and catch a draft off attack, but it just did not work. Tack was by too quickly. Rock stuck behind. He looks to the outside again. RockShox brakes nice and early. But that car is sliding the tires real aggressively under braking. Larry is all sorts of sideways coming out of turn 1, though. So Larry's better, and RockShox seems to be better out when it comes to turn 1. Shadow pits out second. So we anticipate that will move Hanser back into the second position as Nizrama continues to go long on pit stops. Looks like it's going to be Nizrama versus Hanser. Both fight for it would be their second stint win here for the for the prototype category here in the C-Class lobby. Still waiting for this duo to make a pit stop. And Larry will likely make it before RockShox does. That's the prototype of Muhammad closing in on this duo right now. Well, even if it's not for outright distance, I think these two are kind of helping each other as they're giving each other draft and not spending a lot of time bleeding off time in the corners, fighting and defending. So I think this is going to help both of them for their overall distance. But when it comes to stint wins, he's got to be a little bit frustrated. And there's Larry coming in the pits, and RockShox will stay out another lap. We're going to take an ad break now, and hopefully when we're done with the ad break, we'll be able to see the two come on top of each other coming out of the pits. Well, welcome back to Daytona. Larry, after making his stop, has fallen to third on track, right behind the Ferrari of ACR Colin. And this could be really problematic for Larry if he ends up spending a lot of time behind Colin, not being able to get by him in the infield section. Now, we don't know when ACR Colin is going to pit. He's going to pit now, because if he pits now, that'll make things a lot easier for Larry. He's got a little bit of transmission damage, but still has plenty of fuel to stay out for a while. So yeah, if Larry catches Colin in the infield and can't get by him immediately, this could really help out Rockshock here, who is in comparatively clean track right now. That is Hanser, second in prototypes, who is about to close in on Larry here. Big dive. Through without any issue whatsoever. Larry's not closing on Colin very quickly here. And this does help him out, because right now, if Larry's still in relatively clean air, then he might be able to pull on Rockshock. We don't know when the GT category leader is going to pit. Same thing with prototypes. Nizrama has yet to pit. We don't know when. All right, Rockshock is pitting now. So where is Larry going to end up in relation to Rockshock? That is the big question. Prototype of Raj blitzes by now. You can see Rockshock already on the run, out of his box, coming down to turn 1. Larry out of turn 4 already. And the Ferrari of Colin will pit as well, so Larry in clean air coming into turn 1. Rockshock already in turn 1, and now here comes Larry diving in. It's going to be close. But I think Rockshock has him. Not by much, though. But yes, Rockshock will end up ahead of Larry, but Larry's been in this position before, and now he has to do it again. Been in this position once before, and now he has to do it again, does Larry, as he is kept up behind Rockshock. Following this Corvette. One Corvette follows another. All the GT drivers have now made their second stop of the day as well. Also, Nizrama making his first stop, so we'll see where they end up in relation to Hanser. As it is Nizrama versus Hanser for this win in the prototype category, and they are on alternate pit stop strategies in comparison to each other. Rockshock keeps trying to get draft off these prototypes, but he bleeds off so much speed and scrubs off his tires into something bad every time he moves lanes to try and get draft off the prototype. And I think that's one of the main reasons why Larry's been able to close in. Not a great run for either of the two, but Larry had to move aside to let Shadow through. Yeah, Larry really closes in on the back half of the straightaways. Rockshock has the initial run, but Larry has the longer run. He's going to make a dive in turn 1. He brakes early. Still runs a little wide. Being nice and defensive, but he's caught Rockshock. So the fight for the win in GT continues once more. Hanser in the prototypes is clear of Nizrama, not by a lot, but he is clear. And Hanser is making his third stop nice and early. That'll put Nizrama back on top for the moment. This fight for 10th continues as Larry continues to run behind Rockshock. He did earlier because he had a smaller fuel load. That early stop does not seem to have a massive positive impact, it seems. That is Tactical Fallout who's going by. Tac falling to 6, so I think this is honestly the first unproductive, well, not unproductive, but off stint for that team, Velocity Racing team, but still not bad for someone who's not been in a prototype for nearly 3 years. I think right now, at this stage of the event, Rockshock is faster than Larry. But the gap is incredibly tiny. And Larry seems to be a little bit smoother, a little bit calmer. Rockshock a little bit more skittish right now. As we continue to watch this stalking battle for the win in the GT category. Larry's close enough to get a big toe off of Rockshock down the straights, but is not going to push the issue going into the bus stop. This time Rockshock has a better run out of the bus stop, but Larry is close enough to get draft, and that car has been faster in a straight line at the top speed. It's not the better acceleration, but has better top speed. Larry's got to run. Is this going to be it? Rockshock defends the inside. Larry goes to the outside. Drag race once again. Larry had to make it happen like this once before. He'll do it again. Larry goes back in front of Rockshock. Slides wide in one though. Rockshock fighting back. And the crossover. Rockshock takes the position back. This fight is nowhere near done. They have a tire slide for Rockshock going into the second infield hairpin. There is a bit of a fight for it between Phoenix and Zoombat right now at the rear of the GT field. Garage also is paying out second position. Phoenix in the Porsche is going to lose his position as Zoombat. Zoombat in that Corvette has better straight line speed, but can he hold it around the outside? The answer is... yes, he will. Nice job. Meanwhile, we look back at this fight for the GT lead. Hanser gets by Virages. Virage has gone ahead and made their third stop of the race. Top 3 in prototypes have yet to make their third stop. Larry's got a gigantic run on Rockshock and very early on the straight, mind you. Goes on the outside. Shock doesn't really have any way to defend. And before they even get to the start-finish line, Larry has completed the pass second time in 2 laps. But will Rockshock get the crossover on the exit of turn 1 again? No. Larry parks the car in position. He does slide wide on exit, but he parked the car in front of Rockshock and broke Shock's mid-corner momentum. Oh, Larry hops over the curb, something nasty, and that brings Rockshock back in just a little bit. Nose to tail to the second infield chicane. Larry gives Rockshock the inside, but that turns into Shock having the outside. Shock does not want that. He just falls in line for the moment. They will take slightly different lines coming back into Speedway Turn 1. Rockshock tries to get to Larry's inside, but does not have the grip and power to do it. He'll fall in line behind Larry, but he's got the draft on the car who's faster in a straight line, so this will artificially drag Shock up and keep him behind Larry for a bit longer. This is where we saw the two at before they made their second pit stop. Larry only has 10% left in the fuel tank. What about Shock? 35, so Shock is going to go longer than Larry again. Yeah, but Larry's starting to pull on Shock. Oh, nope, Shock's got the draft, neutralizing some of Larry's top end, not close enough to make a move. Oh, but Larry's a little bit sideways going into turn one. Shock gets briefly alongside, they make a little bit of contact, and he's there again. These two have not been perfect. They've both made a lot of small, tiny mistakes, but they have absolutely blitzed away from the rest of the GT category field. It really is just them here. Shock to the inside of Larry as Larry slid wide, and he's got him. They're drag racing, but Larry has lost the top spot. Shock ahead. Can he close on Larry? Barely, but Larry slides wide and falls back behind Shock. A bit of a mistake from Larry, and now Shock back to the top in the GT category. All right, what can Larry do? We know Larry's faster in a straight line. He doesn't have to push hard in the bus stop chicane. He could try instead to make it stick in turn one. The turn one move has been his big playing card, and it's worked for him many times. The other thing that's worked for Larry is just outrunning Shock on the run down to the start finish line. I think that's what he's going to try and do again. Already drag racing in Speedway turn 3. Speedway turn 4. Larry's got the straight line speed advantage. He won't even have to dive deep into turn 1. He's already clear of Shock. Pretty convincingly at that. But again, Larry slides wide going into turn 1. Not as bad as before though, and it keeps Shock behind. Rock can't do anything to fight back. They're both a little bit sideways in that little twisty S coming out of the turn 1. Larry gives Rock the inside coming out of the first infield hairpin, but Rock doesn't have enough speed to really push it. Even if he did, you don't want it to be side by side in the kink. That is Muhammad, I believe, who is about to catch this duo. Larry's wide. Coming into Speedway turn 1, and Shock's got him. Porsche will blitz by without issue. Does Larry push the issue? Larry's going to follow. Try to go to the outside, but Shock blocks, and now Larry gets to the inside. And aborts. He does not want to be side by side going into the bus stop, obviously. So very calm, measured moves by Larry. But the car seems to be gaining away from him right now. Shock a little bit more frazzled, but I think that Shock has the better car at the moment. That is Nizrama, the prototype category leader, about to catch this fight for leading GT. 3 wide, Larry going around the outside. Nizrama blitz both of them on the inside. Oh, Larry misses the corner in turn 1, and Shock is going to cross over, and he's back through. Shock is just so much more cautious on brakes going into turn 1. You can see Larry, he may be ahead, but he's taking so much speed in turn 1. He's sliding the car out, the rear tires slide out, then the front tires follow as he tries to save the car, and Shock, who is braking early, is just having a nice smooth run through turn 1. At the line, Larry's been leading the last few laps. But over the majority of the lap, it has been Shock. And lucky for Shock, this is not a, oh, who's ahead at the line fight. It is a matter of where are you in relation to the other driver when the timer is over. These two, they're not on the same strategy, but their strategies are similar-esque. We'll likely see Larry pit in the next lap or two. Let's see here. Shock is at 26% fuel, so he can still go for a little bit. Larry, who runs right behind, he is at... Oh, yeah, Larry is pitting this time by. No doubt about that. So Larry, when he hit early... We did the undercut earlier, it dropped him behind Rock Shock, but then he caught Shock after a few laps. This time, though, Larry is behind Shock already when he's going to make this pit stop. Is he going to be even farther behind Shock? Be interesting to see. Pulls up alongside to kind of snooker Shock and try to scare him a bit, but yeah, he is in. Meanwhile, in the prototype category, it is Nizrama who leads. But Hanser is not too far out. And it looks like it will be Nizrama versus Hanser. Both drivers who have won a prior stint, and they will be the ones fighting for the win. They are on alternate strategies. I think Hanser has the upper hoof right now. NWR Shadow likely on track for a potential top 5 result here, so pretty good job on him. Wasn't in that big knife fight at the front early, but he has gradually been dragging himself up. I think top 5, maybe top 4, but realistically I think top 5 is in the cards for Shadow. So we're going to go on board for a lap with Nizrama, our prototype leader, and see what a flying lap is like here on the in the Jag here around Daytona. Well, welcome back to Daytona, and we are on board with Larry B again. While we were away, Rock Shock made his pit stop. He's still in the lead, but once again, Larry is right behind and is in position to capitalize. Might be able to catch him, might be able to run him down, but getting away from Rock Shock afterwards has been the difficult thing. The undercut has not really been working out in Larry's favor thus far, though, which is kind of interesting, but undercut was a lot stronger in the earlier stints, but as the track has been getting gradually darker as we're getting later and later into the day, it just does not seem to be working as much as it was before. Prototype is about to catch that is Tactical Fallout, who is 6th. Behind him, though, is just another GT car that is not faster than this duo, so after the Tactic gets by, it's going to be a long time before this duo has to deal with any traffic. Tactical Fallout's going to catch Rock Shock right in the braking zone of turn 1. That's really not helped Rock Shock out at all. Rock Shock is completely offline, hemorrhages a huge chunk of time in the process, and Larry closes right up. Our top 2 in prototypes have yet to make their third stop. As I say that, Nizrama is just pitted now, and I imagine Shadow will be paying this lap as well. question is, where is Hanser going to be in relation to Nizrama? I believe Hanser still has the upper hand over Nizrama. Also, we'll have about 25 minutes left for everyone to get their final stop in. Wynot is the first driver to complete all 4 of his pit stops in this stint. All 4 mandatory pit stops in this stint. I mean, if you want to make more than 4 stops, you're fine, but you're just going to throw away a lot of good time by doing so. And yep, you can see on the map there, Hanser has Nizrama beat as Nizrama comes out of the pit lane. We'll keep an eye on that fight in the prototype for the top spot, but we do anticipate that Hanser has Nizrama's number, as really this gradual fight that's been going on for second in GT, where most of the intrigue has been. NWR Shadow, your current leader in prototype, will likely be paying this lap or next. And then everyone except for Colin, who runs third in GT, will have completed their first 3 stops, of their 4 required. There's shadow pitting. So that will cycle Hanser into the lead with Nizrama in second. I do think Shadow is still on track for a legitimate top 5 result at the rate that their fight is going in the prototypes. Everything's finally kind of calmed down a little bit. Not a lot of crazy big incidents. Just a lot of really, really intense fighting early on, and then this kind of dragged out, prolonged battling that's been going on since. Rock Dog seems to be holding steady over Larry, if not going slightly faster. I think this fight in GT, it's just a stalking battle now, and unless Jock makes a giant mistake, I think this is just going to come down to how prototype traffic navigates between the two of them. Oh, and Larry's gone very, very wide in the hairpin there. Well, he just threw away a huge chunk of time, so yeah, that's probably going to derail it for him. They're both likely going to pit on the same lap or within 1 lap of each other for their final stop. So 21 minutes left in the stint. Well, a little bit over 21 minutes left in the stint. 11 left to get your final pit stops in. Nizrama not too far out from Hanser, but not close enough to really take any fight to him. And while last stint might be a little bit controversial after Hanser went off track to overtake GT traffic, after him and TJ got into each other several times over, last stint win might be a bit controversial, but Hanser might be on the way to an uncontroversial win here. Nizrama knows what that's like. It wasn't a stint win in stint 1, but Nizrama had some controversy and failed to complete the mandatory 4th stop in stint 1. So we know that's going to be a big distance penalty for him, but he did come back and dominate stint 2, so Nizrama knows what that's like. As Garage makes his final stop out of the third position now. 57% fuel, so Nizrama, once he finally does make his next stop, it will probably just be a tire-only stop. Can't touch the fuel. For Hanser, he's going to be pitting this lap, I imagine. Is that where Nizrama's hoping to catch him? Could Nizrama make up valuable time on Hanser by not needing to refuel the car and only needing to swap tires once he makes his stop, once he makes his pit? Also, Tactical Fall has made his stop. His final stop. LMP Porsche has made his final stop. Gap between 10th and 11th has opened up a little bit more, so I think that is over for now. So while Nizrama has led a much, much bigger chunk of this stint, I think in the end it's going to go in Hanser's favor. He's faster. He's just been making most of his stops earlier than Nizrama has. And this one's not going to be any different. And suddenly Larry is closer to chalk than he was before. Not close enough to catch his draft, but suddenly he is closer. Traffic really seems to be what's playing the part in this. CBL Muhammad is now going to make a stop. So only the top 3 in prototypes, Nizrama, Jestunku, and Shadow, have yet to make their final stops. Top 3 in GTs, Rockshock, Larry, and Colin also have yet to make their final stops. This first or second in GT pit, who blinks? The undercut has hurt Larry the first 2 times. Does he dare undercut again? He's got 9% left in the tank. Rockshock, who runs just ahead, has 11 left in the tank, so they're likely going to pit on the same lap or within a lap of each other. Shock is all sorts of sideways coming out of turn 1 that time. We're going to knock out a commercial break now, so we don't have to worry about another one to the end of this stint. So after we come back from this, we will be with this race to the end, or this stint to the end. Welcome back to Daytona as we look out the back of RockShox as Larry is closing in once again in this fight for the GT category win. A little bit of traffic in form of the prototypes that might end up having an outsized impact here. Shock eats off so much time trying to get draft from prototypes. He needs to really stop doing that. Nizrama pits out of the top spot. So we'll keep an eye on where they end up in relation to Hanser. Just Unku, who's in second, also has yet to make their final stop. Oh! Hanser very nearly wrecks the GT leader. Well, that's not going to help Hanser trying to run down Nizrama, but he does, I think, have an overall advantage. Quickly, we look at Hanser versus Nizrama. With less than 5 minutes left for these drivers to make their final pit stops. And RockShox is going to pit. Larry does not. Larry stays out, so this time it's RockShox who's forced into the undercut. Where's Hanser going to end up in relation to Nizrama? There's the difference. It's not much. If anything, Nizrama's closed a bit more on Hanser, so we may have 2 fights for top honors in both categories. RockShox is the first to pit out of the GT leaders, so Larry will be the last of the GT drivers to pit. In fact, he's going to be the last driver to make his final required stop of the day. Hanser, good news for him is that once he's cleared this Nissan ahead, it is smooth sailing for a long time. He will not have to worry about GT traffic for quite some time. He'll clear Riddle you without any issue whatsoever. So as long as Hanser isn't held up by traffic, it's all up to him just not making a mistake. And he can go back-to-back on Stint wins. And it won't be a controversial one. It will be a pretty solid one. Nizrama is close enough, though, that if Hanser has a big mistake, or even just a series of small mistakes, he will be there to take it back. Bit of a slide out of the rear from Hanser, but he puts the power down. He looks like he's on rails, just like there's no sluggishness in the rear tires at all when he asks them to power up and start moving. All right, Larry's making his stop. RockShox coming up. The undercut did not help Larry in pit stop 2 or 3, but now he's forced RockShox to make the undercut. Larry is on the overcut. It's only about a 2-lap difference. Or is that going to be enough for RockShox or Larry to swap their positions? Larry's already out of turn 1. Shock navigating through turn 1. You can see Larry up there ahead. Is that it? Did Larry get him? I think Larry's got him for now. Not quite. Shock barely dives into the infield hairpin, just barely ahead of Larry. But Larry is there now. He is closer now than where he was before. He doesn't have to catch Shock. He is behind Shock. He is already there. Oh, tactical fallout in the prototype right there are very unexpected. And gets into Shock just a bit. Got into Larry as well, I think. So neither of the GT leaders really got hurt. Or I think Larry may have gotten hurt a little more than Shock. Once they're clear, next one this duo is going to have to deal with will be Muhammad and Ashkan, and they're still a little ways back. Shock holds station over Larry. 11 minutes left in the stint. I'll look real quickly. First and second, there's a solid gap 1001, 1002, 1003. There's probably about 3.5 seconds right now between Hanser and Nizrama. And that duo will be catching GT traffic in a little bit. But again, catching traffic is one thing. It's all about where you catch it. If you catch traffic in the straightaways, it doesn't matter. If you catch it in the infield or in the bus stop, it can be a big issue. And that is somebody who's had an issue. Is that Ashkan, who has had an issue in the bus stop chicane. No damage, but he's probably had a big spin by the looks of it. This is really interesting here to see how this is going to turn out for the top GT category. Larry runs just a little bit behind Shock. Visibly, you can see it on track, how close it is. Shock has been a little bit smoother in the braking zones in the corners, but Larry has a massive straight line speed advantage. And Shock's also just been making a little bit more mistakes. When it comes to tire life, Larry's going to be fresher on rubber to the end, but I'm not sure how much of an impact that's really going to have. All right, through Speedway Turn 1 once again. Real quick check just to make sure neither of these cars are damaged. No damage here on Larry for Chalk. Has he got any damage? No. He's running with a lot more fuel in the car, though. I'm a little shocked that Chalk has that much gas in the machine. That will make him a little bit heavier mid-corner and a little bit slower. Not quite nose to tail. Still a big gap between the duo. This section here, though, coming from turn 4 down to Speedway turn 4 down into turn 1, is usually where Larry makes up the most time on Shock, but he doesn't need to brake stupid late and throw it all away. There is a prototype coming up. That would be Muhammad. So we'll see Muhammad blitz by here coming out of the infield hairpin. Well, took him a little longer to catch than I thought. But he's through. Now Muhammad sets his sights to get around Rock Shock. Well, this time around, traffic didn't really affect either of them positively or negatively. They do have, though, more prototype traffic coming. And it is the leaders, Hanser and Nizrama. Nizrama still runs about 3.5-4 seconds behind Hanser. He's kept Hanser on. His Hanser has had to be on the wheel. He's not been able to relax. But it does look like Nizrama doesn't really have anything for Hanser with about 7.5 minutes left. Still, 3 podium results for Nizrama is pretty solid in that number 13 machine. Oh, wow. Shadow and Unko have actually caught each other for 4th. I've missed this somehow because I've been so focused on the fight for GT category lead. But yeah, this duo has caught each other in a fight for 4th. Shadow behind Unku. We were talking earlier that Shadow wasn't in that big 5-car brawl at the front of the prototype field earlier, but he's gradually fought his way up, and now he's to the inside of Unku, and I think he might get 4th here in these closing minutes. Drag race out of turn 4. Unku gets a little bit of a run as he runs downhill off the banking, but Shadow has the inside line. Who goes deeper under braking this time? It's Unku, and can he make it stick? Shadow slides. Unku slides. They're still side by side. No! Unku's got him. Barely. Just barely. Shadow's right there ready to capitalize if Unku slides wide in the hairpin. Can't quite make it stick. Unku still has 4th. But Shadow has caught Unku on merit. And these last 6 minutes, this could be a legit fight. And mind you, 6 minutes in the present is only about 2, maybe 3 full laps. These two are only going to get the end of this lap and about 2 more laps and a little bit more to the end. The GT fight has really opened up all of a sudden for the win, so I think RockShox has Larry's number unless he makes a big mistake, or the prototype drivers really cause them problems. So now the interesting fight is for fourth, because the fight for first and second is pretty cut and dry. Nizrama, about 4 seconds behind Hanser, can't really do anything. Oh, Shadow hits Unku as Unku is caught by traffic, and Unku is off. Unku is way off into the dirt, still off, and there may have been another car that went into the wall farther back. That may have been Porsche. Was that it? Was traffic the deciding factor? Is there damage on Unku's car? No damage, but traffic was the giant factor as Unku was caught up behind PTG Brains, and it ended up being Shadow with a big run, hit Unku from behind, and Unku went knocked off, way off circuit. The bus is here. This is the third time today that we've seen that happen between prototype cars. And Shadow, who was nowhere near the front early on, well, he was near the front, but went off early on. I was nowhere near that big 5-car melee for the first 20 or so minutes, has worked his way up into fourth. With 4.5 minutes left, and he's got a solid gap over Unku now. Not a gigantic gap, he can't piss it away or, fritter it away. But as long as he keeps his head down and doesn't make any big, decisive mistakes, he'll be good. And the good news is, Shadow and Unku is clear track ahead for them. It comes to the fight for the GT lead. It's opened up significantly. Shox seems to have Larry's number now. Larry closed in significantly by doing the overcut on this final round of stops, but he only got behind RockShox and just could not get alongside him at any point. It seems like this fight is over for the GT lead, unless Shox makes a mistake. And to be fair, he's not been perfect. 3.5 minutes left. Fight for the prototype lead is on, though. Nizrama has caught Hanser with 3 minutes left in the stint. I did not see this coming. We started this stint off with an incredible prototype fight. It looks like we might end this stint with an incredible prototype fight, as Nizrama is tucked up right behind Hanser. And they will catch GT traffic, I think, going into turn 1. Nizrama's got Hanser's draft, I think. Hanser is running a wider line in the corners, I think, trying to deny Nizrama draft. Thing is, that's going to slow Hanser down a bit. I mean, it might be denying Nizrama the draft, though. It's a bold strategy with 2.5 minutes left. It's really hard to tell if it's going to work or not. Hanser is going to catch traffic into the braking zone. That's Riddle U ahead. And Hanser had a little bit of trouble getting by Riddle U. What of Nizrama? No problem for Nizrama. This means that he's able to close even more on Hanser now. Less than 70 feet is the distance. But they've got only a bit more than 2 minutes. They've got the rest of this lap and then a little bit more time left. Nizrama, Hanser, both fighting for what would be their second stint victories. But Nizrama can catch Hanser. Can he even pull alongside or complete the overtake? That's going to be the real question. Through the hairpin that brings you back on the speedway turn 1. Nizrama very close, perfectly in the draft. Hanser running a much, much higher line in the oval section, then gradually cuts down. I think Hanser has a slightly better straight line speed advantage. And they will catch one, I don't think they're going to catch that traffic. Maybe, I don't know. I think that's Ashcan ahead. Nizrama's got the run! Hanser missed up in the bus stop. Nizrama's got the run! He's right there, tucked up behind! Looks to the high side! Not enough speed to pull alongside yet, but he's there! With less than 75 seconds left, we started this stint off with a prototype fight! We're gonna end it with a prototype fight! Hanser ahead! Nizrama stays perfectly in line! Into turn 1 for a final time today! Nizrama slides wide! Hanser may have gone a little bit too tight! He choked his run out of turn 1! Nizrama still tucked up behind! 40 25 seconds left! Nizrama's really cutting down and killing his lines, trying to choke off the inside so Nizrama can't get alongside. Nizrama's flowing a little more. 35 seconds left into the second hairpin. I don't think they're gonna catch traffic. 15 seconds. It's going to be a drag race for these two. Will they be able to make it to the bus stop chicane? If they do make it to the bus stop chicane, can Nizrama pull up alongside Hanser? 6 seconds left. I don't think they're going to make it. 1 time. It did not work. It was basically nose to tail. But no, in the end, Hanser will win back-to-back stints. Incredible stuff. And there may be a little bit of controversy in the GT category. Rock Shock, Larry, so close to each other. I can look at how close these two are. They're basically right on top of each other at the so our prototypes were on top of each other and our GTs were on top of each other at the end. I honestly could have focused on either battle and had a good run. This has probably been the best stint we've ever covered in TORA for multi-class stuff. Anyways, we're going to knock out a ad break, and then when we get done, we're going to try and hopefully talk to our top 2 finishers in both GTM prototypes here. Good Lord. All right, welcome back to Daytona. Nizrama had to back out, I believe, because he's going back-to-back in stints. So we will not try to reach out to Nizrama, but if things work out, we will try to talk to Hanser. We also still want to talk to Rock Shock. We won't get a chance to talk to Larry, though, as I believe Larry is also going back-to-back stints. But Rock Shock back-to-back stint wins, and that car has now won 4 out of the 5 stints that has started in the GT category. Incredible performance by the LMP guys there in that Chevrolet. Absolutely incredible stuff in that 828 machine. And Hanser, back-to-back. This car could have won 3 stints, but still, 2 stint victories at this point is not bad at all. And we will be covering one more stint. Rama backed out. Rama left because I think Rama is going back-to-back in stints. So right now, all those drivers who have left, all of them have places to be, and a lot of those places to be are going to be in Stint 6. And don't you worry, we will be covering Stint 6 here in C-Lobby on this channel. Initially, it's going to be someone else, but these C-Lobby stints have gotten pushed later and later and later. That just due to the way things have turned out, it's going to be me who ends up covering Stint 6 C-Lobby in the end. Just waiting for Hanser to pull forward. Once we see Hanser pull forward, we will know that this stint will be over. Most of the field, I think, is going to be very, very burnt out. That was an incredible fight right on top of each other for a prototype and GT lead to the end. Just incredible how that turned out. Excuse me. Has ACH Colon, who's now left as well. Well, RockShock's left also, so I guess RockShock also has places to be. So, I don't know if he's going back-to-back or not in stints. But yeah, so we will not be able to talk to RockShock before the end of this. Alright, here we are. Now we see Hanser moving. Alright, I went ahead and sent out invites to our stint winners in both categories, but if we don't get anything back from them in about 90 seconds or so, I'm just going to go ahead and close this stream and then reboot the stream for Stint 6 in the C lobby, and that will be the end of our run here. Seems like most of the field's leaving now. Yeah, now Hanser is gone. Okay, so I think it's reasonable to say that this will be the end of... Oh, 1 second. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's it for that stint. So I'm going to wait just a little bit longer to see if either of our winners are able or willing to jump in for broadcasting. But if not, yeah, so be it. We are still running about not quite an hour behind schedule at this stage of the event. I'm not too worried about it, though. Stint 6 is the last one in a row, and then I'm going to sleep, and I have to wake up in time to cover Stint 12. Good old 14 out of the 24 hours of Daytona. Yeah, okay, so it looks like that's it. We're going to have to close down here. So I'm going to end this broadcast here. I'm going to start up our next broadcast for the Stint 6 momentarily here. But until next time, I've been your host, Insane Leader 13. Thank you very much for joining us. We got one more stint to go today. I believe it's going to be our first night stint. Until then, farewell and goodbye.